It's WST Sunday Live, hosted by Hrabchak, Lyss, Houde, and Jacob Stoller.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of WST Sunday Live. My name is Hrabchak, and I'm usually joined by two amazing co-hosts today, but it's only one today. Jacob Stoller from Sportsnet.ca is joining us. Lyss unable to make it, but Jacob and I are going to hold it down, breaking down last night's 4-1 loss to the Utah Hockey Club and previewing maybe the most important week of regular season hockey in Jets 2.0 history as they look for their first Central Division title, playing against the second team. Packed show today. Thank you for joining us, everyone, here on YouTube. Jacob, how are you doing on this Sunday morning?
Doing great. We're missing the third leg of the trio here, but we'll make do. It's like the Jets right now. We're one player short of the top line.
For sure. And we'll need to bring the theories. We'll definitely be lacking in theories on today's episode.
We will be lacking in theories per sexy. I will do my best to take a run-of-the-mill situation and apply a theory to it in Lyss's absence, but won't be the same.
It's like Alex Iafallo moving up to the top line. We all just gotta, step up.
I'm Iafallo in the situation.
Yeah. Well, hey, you love him so much. That's okay.
If I'm Iafallo and Lyss is Velarde, I'm offended. I think I look at it as like I'm Ehlers, she's Velarde, or I'm Ehlers, she's like, or I'm Velarde, she's Ehlers. More in line. But the fourth line of the top line for me, come on.
Yeah, we're bringing you from the depth of the lineup. And now you got to step up big time. No, I'm kidding.
Miserable.
Let's get into last night's game, Jacob. And it was one to forget. Sammy Smokes here saying, can we just skip past yesterday's game and talk about tomorrow's game? What happened last night? Because for the first two periods, that was not the same team that we saw Thursday night in Vegas. It looked like Utah had everything they wanted through the neutral zone, off the rush, in the offensive zone, extended shifts. Jets looked tired with those extended shifts. What do you think the third period, I think it was mainly just score effects and Utah maybe protecting a lead. But the first two periods, what did you see and what went wrong in that game last night?
Jets weren't sharp. They weren't engaged in the game the way they need to be. I think Utah has always matched up well against the Jets. Their run and gun style of plays always seem to kind of burn them. The thing is, I wrote this in my column for Sportsnet.ca. Like, you may you'll rarely see the run and gun style that Utah plays in the postseason. But on the other side of it, the Jets, you need to be efficient in transition regardless and play with speed. And last night they didn't have it. I found they were the neutral zone was a mess. Oh my God. It just, I don't know what it is, but it seems like, Scheifele and Connor, for example, it gave me a lot of memories of earlier in the year when that top line was struggling and the neutral zone just seemed like a booby trap to them every time. Yeah. And I think Utah played a good game. That's a good hockey team. Like Utah, I think they're right there on the cusp of being a playoff team in that core, and I like a lot of their pieces. But it's not so much the Jets lost the game; it's that the Jets crapped the bed in that game, right? Yeah. The neutral zone, as I said, booby trap. In the offensive zone, here's the thing. Okay, so Mark Scheifele, is it possible? First theory of the game here, or of the pod. Is it possible for Mark Scheifele to have a great game and a bad game at the same time? A great game in the sense of there was so much. That was good. That's a good list.
Yeah, that Lyss would say that.
It's a double it's a double positive where you're like, I don't know, maybe. But I thought Mark Scheifele did an amazing job holding on the pucks in the offensive zone, sustaining possession. But still, there's certain situations where it's like, shoot the puck.
Yeah,
shoot it. And it's not just a Mark Scheifele issue. Adam Lowry on the 2-on-1.
Oh man, that was
shoot the puck.
Like that was a tough one, the Lowry one, because the Jets were lucky to come out of the first period down 1-0. Like Connor Hellebuyck made some incredible saves. Utah was all over them.
Yeah.
You start the second period on a penalty kill, which Utah ends up scoring on after this moment. But Adam Lowry and Alex Iafallo get a jump on a 2-on-1, and like the defenseman takes the pass more than you could ever take the pass in the 2-on-1, and Lowry like still forces it. And it's like you almost have a breakaway at that point. Like Lowry was so open that he had the goalie 1-on-1. Like it was no longer a 2-on-1.
How much of that you think is confidence? Like with Lowry and
I don't know, because Lowry's usually pretty confident on breakaways and like taking it to the net and shooting it. Like he doesn't get as many opportunities as a Mark Scheifele or Kyle Connor, but he's not the type that I'm like, oh, he always defers on the 2-on-1, you know?
Yeah. I just wondered the last 11, 12 games, he got that one goal, but it seemed like he was a bit snake, but I don't know. I'm turning the benefit out. But what I wanted to say about the Jets to finish up that is just the reason I mentioned Scheifele, it's kind of an analogy for the entire team. So you spend a lot of time in the offensive zone, you possess the puck really well, but how are you producing in the middle? Not natural stat trick, raw totals, like actual quality. When we go to pressers, Connor and I or someone else will cite chances and certain things, and Arneal will say, we had 2 quality chances. Let's say natural stat trick says 3, whatever. The reason for, or 5, like there's a difference there. The reason for that is obviously the Jets have different metrics to measure scoring chances.
They're not flipping open natural stat trick at the intermission or money puck.
Money. Sorry to break the news there. They're not doing that. That's not the tab on his screen. So that to me was a game where it was like, yeah, there may have been volume in the higher areas, but maybe situations where someone touched the puck and it went towards the net, not like an actual substantive shot. So the long-winded way here of saying the Jets had a lot of time in the offensive zone, but along the perimeter. So I just think it's like, that's good they were down there, but that next step, like get to the inside. And that's an issue we're finding here time and time again.
I agree. And look, I don't know what it is about Utah, but the game on January 20th where Utah beat the Jets 5-2, Scardino called it embarrassing. Then the Jets rattled off 11 straight wins. And this game, there hasn't been a team that has had more room in the neutral zone all year long on the Jets than Utah. Like, there is just so much of a gap when they get the puck in the neutral zone with speed. Logan Cooley's attacking with speed. Dylan Gunther, Clayton Keller. There's so much room. Like you watch the game Thursday against Vegas and the Jets neutral zone defense and their defense in locking up the middle of the ice. And then you watch this game. It's just completely night and day, or at least the first 2 periods of this game. Again, the third period, whatever. Utah's protecting a lead. They're not pushing at all. But I don't know. The more standout, I agree with you on the offense and getting to the middle of the ice and generating quality, but the bigger standout for me was defensively and just how wide open the neutral zone was for Utah for 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, whatever they wanted. They had speed, they had numbers, and they had it for the first 2 periods basically throughout. So,
well, I don't think the Jets are used to, like, their defensive structure is used to so much speed coming through. Like, I almost think that they're usually positionally awaiting for guys to come through and they stop passes in between before where Utah just goes. They're just
I think that's why people are scared of Colorado the first round. like that. I think you just described that right there. Because every time the Jets play like a run and gun fast team,
but why is it that Winnipeg always seems to beat Colorado in the regular season though?
I don't know.
That part I don't get.
I can't wrap my head around that either.
I mean,
well, here, let me pose a question to you because they lost to LA on Tuesday. Coming into the game on Thursday against Vegas, they had lost 8 straight against Vegas in the regular season. Yeah. And that style of team was described as like the type of style you're going to see in the playoffs, the type of style the Jets struggle against is these like defensive juggernauts. I actually think it's teams like Utah where they're super fast through the neutral zone. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I think the Jets struggle more against speed than they do against like tight defensive structure.
100%. Yeah. Oh, no doubt. That's why if you were to ask me who the Jets would rather play, Dallas or Colorado, it would be Dallas.
Okay.
And Dallas is still good in transition, but they don't have, like, they're very good in transition, but.
Right. They're not Nathan McKinnon.
Martin Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Nathan McKinnon. Cale Makar. And emphasis on Martin Nietzsche's because, yeah, they lost Mikko Rantanen, but now they have this unlocked unicorn Martin Nietzsche's who you don't want to play against that.
Right.
The guy's so
Yeah.
fast. So, yeah, I definitely was thinking about Colorado in the back of my head last night quite a bit. Like, that's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Dallas, because Dallas lost earlier in the day. And this is why I think this loss feels like more for Jets fans, because there was a chance here and Dallas played at 2 and the Jets played at 6. So there was a gap, like a 1 hour gap between games where everyone was like, whoa, Dallas lost. Okay, now it's time for the Winnipeg Jets to come out and make it a 6-point lead over the Dallas Stars. And they didn't do that, right? So we're in the exact same position we were when we woke up Saturday morning. Dallas has a game in hand. The Jets are up 4 points. The game on April 10th is still going to be incredibly important. And the Jets' percentage to win the division per money puck, Jacob, actually went up after yesterday. It's more crucial for Dallas to win these games right now. Obviously, the Jets need to win as well, but Dallas losing games is a big thing. It went from 72% to 77% with the Dallas loss. And I was looking, Dallas plays today as well. And if they lose in regulation, they're playing on the second day of a back-to-back. They travel to Minnesota, who didn't play yesterday. If they lose in regulation, that percentage for them drops all the way down to 10%. So the Jets would be at like Money Puck has it. If you click on the game, it shows all the percentages of like if they win in regulation, it's this. If they lose in regulation, it's that. Yeah, it's a pretty good system that Money Puck has it going here. I'll get the exact numbers because this is the topic, right? This is the topic.
You click on the game.
Yeah, like Stars at Wild. You click on the preview and then you scroll down and it says this is a fairly big game for the Stars. If they beat the Wild in regulation,
oh, I see. This
goes
this
up
is
to
mind blowing to you. I've never seen that.
Yeah, 30% if they win.
I thought
today.
like Remus was doing some like actuarial accounting math. He posted this.
No, that was not happening. If they lose in regulation, okay, so excuse me, it goes down 10% to 12.3%. So the Jets, without even playing today, can have an 88% chance to win the division if Minnesota does them a solid and beats Dallas. That game is at 2:00. So a big game in the Central Division. But Jacob, I think this game hurts a little bit more because of that. And one thing that I found interesting, and we can get to the clips here, we have them ready, is that both Cole Perfetti and Scott O'Neill kind of admitted that it was a missed opportunity after the game. They didn't shy away from the fact that, like, yeah, we know Dallas lost, and we knew that this was a big opportunity that we missed. Sometimes you'll just hear coaches go, we're focused on our own game. But no, they both kind of leaned into it and said, like, yeah, we wanted to put a stranglehold on the division today and couldn't. Let's hear from Scott O'Neill first. Ken Wiebe from the Winnipeg Free Press on the road asked him if, with Dallas losing, if this was a missed opportunity.
A bit of a missed opportunity.
Yeah, for sure it is. Yeah, but you know what? We've talked about it, you know, for the last 3-4 weeks. Is we're not waiting for some other team to beat Dallas. We can't sit and do that. We have to go and take care of our business. We're going to win this division, win it by winning hockey games.
So there's Scott O'Neill saying yes, it is a missed opportunity with something beeping super loudly in the back. Sorry about that. Here's Cole Perfetti, and I don't believe anything's beeping loudly in the back. You can hear him well. But here he is on the road trip as a whole, and then he talks about the missed opportunity with Dallas losing today as well.
I mean, it was okay. Obviously a big win in Vegas, but, you know, probably would have liked, you know, tonight back. You know, we don't want to end it on we had the door open there with, you know, the Dallas game earlier and really put a stranglehold on it, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. So we would have liked to have had this effort back, and you know, we got to get ready for Monday and a strong St. Louis team coming into our building. So that's our focus now. Put this trip in the past and move on and focus on next game, because you know next one's going to be a big one.
So there's Cole Perfetti after the game on the road in Utah.
Do you have the Mark Scheifele clip of him describing
No.
the road trip as stinky?
Yeah. Well, he said
Weaver asked him what he thought of the road trip, to which he said it was a stinky game against LA, a good one against Vegas, and a stinky one again last night against Utah. So
accurate.
Stinky streak in the Midwest.
Stinky. There you go. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of the, you know, obviously with Dallas losing, there was this big, you know, this is a massive opportunity, but waking up tomorrow, the Jets have a
This
better
is a
chance.
must-win.
This
Like
is a must win.
every
The Jets
third
have
day.
the Jets have a better chance to win the division today than they did yesterday, regardless of what happened. And I know that is discrediting the fact that, they could have. They're at 77%. A win probably puts them up over 85 or whatever.
I guess. Sorry.
Yeah,
Just
go for
quick
it.
thing. I know you're about to end the question, but the odds go up probably because there's less time for Dallas to make up the
Yeah.
game in hand they have, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Making sure.
the odds will go right back to what they were if Dallas wins today.
Right.
Then they go back up to 30%. Jets will be at 70%. The Jets will need to win on Thursday, and they'll need to win on Monday. But I know one thing that you wanted to talk about, Jacob, was the fact that Nikolaj Ehlers was not in the lineup for the Jets against the Utah Hockey Club. He took a shot off the foot late in the Vegas game, had to be helped off the ice, was labeled a game time decision for this game, and ended up not playing, which I think is a good sign that there was a chance he was playing and ultimately didn't go.
He probably would have played
Man,
off, I assume.
I think so too. And I think he'll play Monday. And Thursday, I don't think that this is a long-term issue. But man, oh man, did they ever miss his speed last night. It was evident that Nikolaj Ehlers was not playing for the Winnipeg Jets last night. Does it say anything about the importance of Nikolaj Ehlers and maybe life without him?
Yeah, there were so many times where in that game, it was almost like, man, the Jets could just use an Ehlers rush, just simply to back off defenseman, get into the zone and whatnot. And and again, I wrote about this for Sportsnet.ca last night. This might be a bit of a sign of what life without Ehlers is like. Now, it's not. I don't mean the loss itself, to be very clear. I'm not saying that with out Ehlers, they are going to be that bad every night by any means. Like, let's get that. Sorry, I read Rob's comment. I thought it was Catholic holics, and I thought like
Chataholics.
I may be in the wrong show.
Love
that.
This is Sunday morning, Jacob. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
So
Ehlers.
there were so many times where I was thinking throughout the game, if you even with Villard in the lineup, okay, and Perfetti being the Colbert we have now, the second line not having Ehlers, like that sucks. That stings for this team.
Yeah.
Because and Scarion mentioned before about how that second line, Perfetti, Nemesnikov, Ehlers, they need to have an impact because the team can't just be Scheifele's line. And I want to be clear, even with Perfetti at his best capabilities, without Ehlers in the lineup, this is a one-line hockey team as of right now.
I agree.
So, I don't mind getting into this. Like, I think it's a bigger discussion we've hesitated to mention because of how the Jets have succeeded. Ehlers has been understandably tight-lipped about what his future could be after 10 seasons with the Jets. But the closer you get to free agency without the player re-signed, the likelihood of him coming back and not testing free agency is quite slim. So
yeah, and I'll just say on last night's game too, in the third period when they went to Connor, Scheifele, Perfetti, then the second line I believe was Niederreiter, Nemesnikov, Iafallo. There was just like the first line was playing great. Outside of that, there was just no like dynamic offensive pop, and like that's where Nikolaj Ehlers, like that secondary scoring, like the top line, full health, Connor, Scheifele, Vilardi will come out. They'll have a great offensive shift. They'll be in the offensive zone for a minute. They'll hand it off. And then the Ehlers line with Perfetti will come out. They'll be in the, like, it's just these handoff shifts, right? Where I felt in the third period, Connor, Scheifele, Perfetti would get into the zone. They'd create. And then that was it. And then Utah would get the puck out and there would just be nothing else. There'd be no next shift, no handoff shift. And yeah, I think it goes into the importance of Nikolaj Ehlers. We talked all week, like not intentionally on Winnipeg Sports Talk. We talked all week about the importance of Neil Pionk because we talked about the third pair and like how important Luke Schenn is. And it's like, well, you realize like Luke Schenn's playing up in the lineup because Neil Pionk is not there. Then Gabe Vilardi. I mean, like the top line without him has been fine. Alex Iafallo, I thought has done a great job filling in that role, but it's the trickle down effect, right?
Totally.
Iafallo on your top line, you're missing that pop from your fourth line or from your third line. And with Nikolaj Ehlers, Gabe Vilardi, Neil Pionk, like the Jets were massively shorthanded last night, and I think it showed. I think it showed in a big way.
I don't know if I buy that. I think
Really?
the Jets,
Oh.
they were shorthanded for sure, but I think the team as a whole could have done a lot better. I think they would even say that as well.
Agreed.
So-
They could have played better, but I still think with Nikolaj Ehlers, that's a way different game for the reasons you mentioned. Like,
Oh, I agree. I just don't.
it's a fast game. He's their fastest player.
The point is, they beat Vegas without Velarde and Pion. This is still
Correct.
a good hockey team.
Totally.
I would agree with you that Ehlers, the speed, like even from a placebo effect not placebo, psychological effect of Ehlers on the entry skating at full speed, just how Utah's defense has to like retreat. It opens up ice. The Scheifele and Connor going so east-west and like holding on to pucks, and it's like you got to be more direct sometimes. And I think that's what Ehlers' line brings. That's So here's the question for you: what do you think is more likely, Chibrikov or Lambert are top 6 players, or Cheveldayoff makes a trade or sign to replace Ehlers if he walks?
The trade. I don't think Chibrikov and Lambert maybe. Because when he's come in this year, when he's come in this year, he's been a top 6 guy, is he not? When he
in lineup,
did he not?
Chibrikov been infinitely better when he's been up?
100%. But I think they'll play him more as like that bottom 6 style, like maybe on a line with Adam Lowry, which is a top 6 line as well, like a middle 6, whatever.
Fair point.
I don't know. I think the trade option is more likely that they would trade. They still have their first round pick, which is my biggest criticism of the deadline, and next year's, which was my biggest criticism of the trade deadline. If they trade that first round pick and something else to replace Nikolaj Ehlers in their top 6, then that's a win now move with a first round pick, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, you almost
I could see
wonder
that.
if they shop a similar package they did for Brock Nelson for a top 6 upgrade at the draft. Like, do you package Colby Barlow, a first, whatever, for
the rights to Nikolaj Ehlers? Boom.
And the rights to Nikolaj Ehlers, yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Which if Ehlers walks, they'll probably trade those to get some sort of thing, I think.
Maybe. Or they'll bank on their youth the same way that they have with, Dylan Sandberg's older. Dylan Sandberg's 26.
And was an NHL player. There's a bit of a difference.
And was an NHL player, yes. But
like,
I don't know.
I don't think it's in the Jets' DNA, nor should it be. Okay. Even if Lambert and Chibrikov were even a bit better than they have been this year, respectively, I don't think the Jets are going to leave a hole open and go 2 things. One, we're going to bank on this guy becoming an NHL player, which is a leap, and we're going to bank on them becoming a top 6 player.
Right.
That's too many. That's too many,
for sure,
layers of separation for you.
For sure. And I agree, which is why I think the trade option is more likely there. If those are the 2 scenarios, right? Obviously, I think everyone in chat would like to re-sign Nikolaj Ehlers.
Sure, the Jets would.
I'm sure the Jets would too. Right. Yeah. Like I think that's plan A. Let's just put it that way.
Wait, the one thing I'll say on Ehlers too is you have to understand as well is he's spent 10 years here now, which is great. 10 seasons.
Yep.
So
crazy.
Him going to UFA, like there's no hometown discount crap you want to say. Like,
no,
he either signs here for whether it's money he's looking for, opportunity, whatever it is, but he's played 10 years in one city. He earns the right to look anywhere else. And I also think if he wanted to stay here, he would have by now. David Pagnotta, the fourth period, reported that he asked for it, was open to a change of series this summer. I don't think it's the first time either that he's been open to it. So
interesting. Okay.
I think he's gone. Like nothing. I would say that as more confidently than I've ever thought, whether it was when Scheifele and Hellebuyck were up, whether it was Ladd or Bufflin from 2015-16, which one would they keep? Like, I would be downright shocked if Nikolaj Ehlers was in a Jets uniform next year.
I don't know if I'd be downright shocked.
I would.
Wow.
Dude, I would. Let's do it. If Nikolaj Ehlers resign.
Well, let's wait. Because my opinion might change with like a long playoff run or something. You know?
Yeah, dude, they lose one game to Utah, and you're like, give him 10 by 10.
Yeah. Well, this showed his importance Blank check
Like,
that man.
No, but
No.
like I don't see a world where he comes back. I just
They have so much cap space. Like it's
Doesn't matter,
really
though.
I know, but it's up to Ehlers. Like there's no
okay. Let's do the inverse. Let's say it's not a. Let's say there's a money issue here. I understand percentage of the cap better, like
Yep.
as much as anyone. I also know that players get bitter and do not understand the concept of inflation. Okay, I don't see the Jets going above or even a bit near Hellbuck and Scheifele's number. I
You ever
don't
see them going 8 mil a season?
Sure. 8 million. Okay, so maybe
8
near. Not above it. Okay.
Okay.
Hear me out. On the open market, could you see a team just like Utah, for example? I don't know exactly their cap situation, but that's
Right.
a team to me that I see being like, you know what? Cap's going up. This guy's a game breaker, fun talent. He's got flaws. He's young. Not young, sorry. He's fast. So is our core. Let's throw the bag at him. Okay.
Yeah. Like 9 a
Seattle,
season?
had they not splurged on Chandler Stevenson and Mont or whatever, that's an organization where ownership wants to win. Could see that too. What I'm trying to say is I think that if it's just money, I think he can get it elsewhere.
Okay. Interesting.
If it's beyond that, this is the first year of the top power play, man.
Yeah.
9 years of PP2, and you're telling me he's going to resign here.
Maybe. Yeah, people are giving their thoughts in chat. Frosty saying
Chicago, another
lots,
example
lots
too.
of money to spend. Montreal Canadiens, go play with his buddy, Patrick Laine. I don't know their cap situation either. But I know they have a lot
like loose.
They have a lot of
they're
young
flexible.
players. Yeah. Yeah. And they have like Lane Hudson on a rookie deal, at least for the next like 2-3 years. So
though there is I could be wrong, but I think with Montreal, like they've almost tried to make their internal cap Suzuki and Caulfield, right? Like
yes.
So but then again, I don't know. I just again I want to reiterate, I don't think he's back. It'll suck for the team.
Okay.
I think either there's a lot of an emotional feeling about leaving for sure, but the guy gave 10 years here, man. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like
I mean, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's a crazy question.
Okay.
That the chat can maybe answer. This is his 10th season. He's had a 6-year deal and then a 3-year ELC. Is that 9 years?
Yeah.
So,
well, okay, he got drafted in 2014.
Yeah.
And started in the 2015 season. Here, well, let's check this. We do have Google.
We do have Google. But like, go to Puckpedia. I'm saying, has he only signed 2 contracts?
Yeah.
So does ELC slide the first year? How does that work?
Probably. Yeah, he started 2015-16 with the Jets, played like 72 games, and then has played every single year since then. 1, 2, 3.
Can someone go to Puckpedia and explain to us?
7, 8, 9, 10. He signed 2 contracts.
But that's 9 years, 6 plus 3.
His ELC slid.
But why?
Because he didn't play with the Jets or the Moose.
No, but it doesn't count. Okay, 10 is 5 plus 5. 6 plus 4. Okay. He played 10 NHL seasons. Correct?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
okay,
what
people are saying 7th year of his deal.
What I'm saying, Brooksy, is how is it possible?
7-year deal. People in chat are letting us
Oh,
know.
a 7-year deal
for $6 million.
Damn,
it was not a 6x6.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bryson.
Thank you, chat. Chat is.
I know it's LOL, Matt Hyman. We don't need to rub it in. I'm not going to count.
Jacob's just out to lunch this morning.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday morning. Let's move on from Nikolaj Ehlers. We'll rehash that conversation in the offseason, or I mean, hey, even deep into the playoffs. He's one of the players under the most pressure to perform in the playoffs. So he can make himself.
Time we will have this discussion. In the summer, I will be on the beach drinking pina coladas, Connor. I need to know
and talking about Nikolaj Ehlers.
I don't know which beach I'm thinking of. Gimli.
Gimli, yeah, boom.
Gimli.
WST Sunday live from Gimli. That could be fun. Let's talk about the wild card race in the West, Jacob, because the St. Louis Blues just won't lose. They beat the Colorado Avalanche again last night, 5-4. They're now up 4 points on Minnesota with Minnesota has 1 game in hand. So St. Louis has 93 points, Minnesota 89. Minnesota plays today against Dallas. The Jets play Monday against St. Louis. What are you expecting from the Jets on Monday against literally the hottest team in the NHL, the St. Louis Blues? I'm pretty fired up for this game. It's on Prime. But man, like St. Louis is just running through everyone. Good teams, bad teams, doesn't matter. 12 straight wins. It's crazy.
Blues are a wagon.
Yeah.
I don't know if listeners will remember, but I swear, whether it was the last time the Jets played the Blues or at some point I made it known that I really like St. Louis, but this is before the streak. I have to say, I have always loved the Blues this year. Offer sheets got it cooking. But they're also just like,
that was nice.
And actually, I'm not going to get too off topic. Also, that mug is electric every time I see it.
Thank you.
Me off.
It was for the Four Nations. I brought it back because why not?
I love the Blues, what they've done, because just 2 things quickly, and I'll get to the Jets element, but it ties in. Look at the Capitals this year. They retooled on the fly, kept core players, built up prospects, developed them. Now they're part of the lineup, and they've reintegrated them. Blues done the same thing. Okay.
Yes.
That has worked quicker than the teardown rebuilds we've seen in Buffalo, in even Chicago. It looks like I don't see Chicago being good next year. So what I want to say though about that is if and when the Jets start to trail off in a couple of years' time, that's the model you're going to see, and not a teardown rebuild. I think it's the right way to go. Anyways, I think the Blues are going to be a real tough. I mean, listen, they've got nothing to lose against the Jets in this game. Like they do. Like the streak ends, right? They put their way to a playoff spot. But let's give our all. The Jets, like, we can't lose to these guys right now. That's kind of the situation you're at. So, it's not the same style, but I'll give you this. The Blues in transition can burn you too.
Yep.
So that's where my mind is going to about the Jets and the way Utah went. That's going to be the real matchup to watch, is how the Jets can combat the Blues' high-octane offense. Also, is it starting 6:30 tomorrow because of Prime? Yes,
6:30 start. Good shout out, because there are people probably with tickets in chat. And 6:30, 30-minute early start. I don't know.
Game on Prime was 6:32, right?
Yeah, I think
6:30 is the early game, I think, for Prime.
Yeah. Well, no, they only do one, but someone in chat can let us know. I don't know. But yes, it is 6:30 on Monday. The St. Louis Blues, 12 straight wins, best goal differential in the league over that time. Of course, they've won 12 straight games. They have a plus 20 goal differential over the season. Minnesota's at minus 13. They are now 5 points back of the Colorado Avalanche with the same amount of games played with that win last night. So, I mean, hey, Colorado's not going to slide, but in a funny world where they lost like their last 4 games of the season.
What are the odds though? Like could St. Louis? No,
not high. Yeah. Not high. I think Money Puck tweeted out yesterday that with the Blues win, they now have like a 1.5% chance or something, because Colorado would literally have to like lose out and St. Louis would have to win out. But St. Louis winning out, not outside of the equation right now. But this game on Monday, do you think the streak ends, or do you think the Jets, or do you think the Blues keep it rolling? Assuming Nikolaj Ehlers plays.
Okay, so how healthy is he?
He's 100%. He's a full go.
So in this hypothetical world where Ehlers is playing, he's healthy. I think the Jets win because they have risen to the occasion every time this year. Wouldn't be packed if they lost. Blues are a great hockey team that have caught fire. And I don't know if anyone's going to stop them, but I do think the Jets will win.
Okay. I agree with you, actually, because this Utah streak has to end eventually. You
mean St. Louis?
The Jets are. Is that what I don't know what I said, but yes. Sorry. Yeah. Utah. I'm reading the chat. People are talking about Utah. St. Louis. This streak has to end eventually.
Why are we still on it?
This streak has to end eventually. Going on the road against the Jets is not an easy task. And I think I think the Jets are going to bounce back. You said that they've risen to the occasion this year. Of late, since the Four Nations break, they are 13-7-1 now after the Utah game. But I wrote an article coming out of that Vegas game on their play since the Four Nations break. So February 20th or 21st was the end of the Four Nations. Since then, they had played 20 games going into the Utah one. They had beat the other 3 top teams in the league, Dallas, Washington, Vegas. And their 5-on-5 goal share was 5th best. Expected goals percentage, 2nd best in the league. High danger chances, 2nd best in the league. Expected goals against, 2nd best in the league. Scoring chances against, 2nd best or 3rd best in the league. Like, they were playing very, very good hockey, losing some weird games and stepping up against the teams that were, measuring stick statement wins. I think you're going to see the same thing Monday night. I think this team's going to bring it. It's a big game. I think you're going to see the same thing Thursday night. And then maybe they'll lose to the Chicago Blackhawks on the weekend or something weird. I just think that where this team is at right now is they are bringing it in the games that matter down the stretch here. And until they don't, I think that should be the mindset. And games that matter, I'm not trying to discredit the fact that they lost last night to Utah and had a chance to put like a massive stranglehold on the division. I'm saying against the best teams, when we sit here and hype these games up, the Jets have delivered over the past, month and a bit. So I think it'll be the same thing Monday night when they take on the Blues. And then all eyes point to Thursday against the Stars, Jacob. Anything else before we move on to trending up, trending down?
Nothing really. I mean, I am excited to see that game. I think maybe a bit more than the Dallas one. Maybe more is an exaggeration, but
Dallas one.
I want to see this version of the Blues up close. How dangerous are they right now?
Me too. And okay, I said it off the top before we move on to our segments here. Is this week the most important week, regular season week, in Jets 2.0?
I don't know. Maybe.
They've never won the Central Division, and a win on Thursday basically guarantees it. Let me know in chat.
Yes. Yeah, let me know in the chat. I mean, maybe. I'm not discrediting that. It's like, I don't know. I think there's been other important weeks.
When though?
I guess.
Okay, yeah. Like they've the first year of Rick Bowness, the last week of the regular season, they had to win to make it into the playoffs, but then they got bounced in the first round. This is to get the 1 seed. This is, this is
a fair point. Okay.
I
was being pessimistic. You may have a point.
I mean, last year against Colorado, that game was just for home ice. Like they were playing Colorado regardless. That was still a massive game to get home ice, and they beat them 7-0. I don't know. I just think regular season wise, it literally cannot get more important than this, where you are chasing down your division title, playing against the team that's right behind you, chasing down the President's Trophy. Like, I don't know how it could get more important than this in a late April week of hockey. So I'll say it. Most important regular season week of Jets 2.0 coming up this week. And it's going to be fun. We're going to be here next Sunday breaking it all down. But let's get to our segment, Jacob, our very popular segment at that, trending up or trending down. This is a segment where we choose a player that is trended up or down for the Winnipeg Jets over the past week of play. And if you have joined us here live on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button down below. Hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell. And while you're down there, drop a comment. Who has trended up or down for you this week? Jacob, I'm going to be completely honest. I did not go back and look at who we chose last week. So clean slate.
Yes.
You can pick any player. We're going into the most important week. You can pick any player for trending up or trending down. Who do you have for trending up? Let's start there.
Trending up? I mean, I'm going to go with Cole Perfetti, who I feel like we said last week, but
doesn't matter.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Love
it.
Cole Perfetti is he's just in front of our very eyes becoming a difference maker. And, even in games like the Utah one, I just felt like when he was on the ice, I still felt like something could happen. Right. Yeah. And what I'm also noticing, we've talked a lot about the corners and stuff, but this guy, he's shooting the puck more. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I just find he's way more assertive, way more willing to shoot, to get into the middle of the ice. And that's so important because Cole Perfetti's got a good shot.
Yeah.
No, like he actually has a really good release. Like I think that I'd hope he's starting to realize that he can use it, and that's going to be a huge difference maker for him because I don't see him as just a pass only player. I see him as a dual threat, to be honest with you. Not a set up one timer that's crazy or a shot that impresses you, but I think he can rip the biscuit as well. So I really like what I've seen from Cole Perfetti. And I said this on the Legal Curve. I don't have any doubts or reservations that he'll perform in the playoffs. The way he's played in the last 25 games, it's not like he looks good, but how will it translate to the playoffs? He's playing a playoff style game. So I got no reservations. I got none. I think Perfetti's really elevated and was great this week as usual. Love a clean slate.
Yeah. I know you're the biggest fan of that because it's not like who did we pick last week? Anyways,
I have a pen out here solely to write down while you're saying who we did for trending up, trending down, and then you say clean slate, and I thought like I'm gonna have to go with Fleury. I don't know.
This is the greatest moment on this show ever.
Oh, I had another good one. No,
okay,
no, I can't.
You can't say it. You can say it after. You can say it after as like an aside. But my pick for trending up is going to be Colin Miller. I thought filling in on the second pair this week, he's done a great job. I thought in the Vegas game, he had the goal, and that second power play unit was just, in my opinion, hilarious. Like they were spoon feeding Colin Miller shots from the point, and he was just firing over and over again. And then the one time he steps into a one timer, he scores, beats Aiden Hill, blows it past him, 96-mile-an-hour slap shot. I think there's a real conversation here with how Colin Miller's playing that you need to try him on the left side when Neil Pionk is back. I think he's earned the right to prove himself on the offside over a guy like Logan Stanley or Hayden Fleury. I think he's played that well that you need to try Shen Miller on the third pair. He's forcing the Jets coaching staff's hand that he can't come out of the lineup. Neil Pionk obviously is coming back in. Luke Shen for the physicality, the net clearing presence. He's going to be in the lineup. I like Colin Miller on the left side. I need to see it, obviously. If he really struggles making plays on his backhand for the majority, that would be a big problem. But I think he's played well enough that you need to see it down the stretch. And maybe you don't debut it on the road against the Dallas Stars on Thursday night, but they're running out of time to do so. But I think Colin Miller's played well enough to earn that look on left side over Stanley or Fleury. So
I agree.
I'm going to go with him for trending up.
For sure.
I'm going to go with him. Trending down, I'm taking the entire power play. They scored last night late. The Mark Scheifele goal was on the power play, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
It was,
yeah. So they did score, but as Scarter Neal said in the post game, would have been nice to get a power play goal earlier in the game as well. And the penalty kill's been kind of elite lately. Again, completely putting last night out of our memory. The Jets hadn't given up a PK goal in 6 straight games coming into last night. And then the power play was kind of lagging along and wasn't pulling their weight as much. So I don't know. The second unit scored on Thursday as well with Colin Miller, but the volume of opportunities they're getting, they're not gaining momentum out of these power plays. They're standing around. They're not entering the zone. The entry, which has been crisp all year, sometimes has been a miscommunication or two. You're missing Nikolaj Ehlers. You're missing Gabe Vilardi. That's going to happen. I'm going to take the power play for trending down. Jacob, who do you have or what do you have for trending down?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hayden Fleury, and it's not because I don't like his play or anything. It's just that it's not seeming like he's a legitimate option in their eyes. Like they're still going with Stanley here. You know, at a time when Pionk's injured and there is more spots available, you know, just automatically. So he's trending down the depth chart. Look, I like what Hayden Fleury brings, but he also has his own flaws as well. I know that the anti-Stanley folk kind of are remiss to acknowledge that, but you know, it's not like he's a sturdy, steady Eddie defenseman either. There's some warts there, but he's less, you know, I want to say he's less harmful than Stanley, in my opinion. And frankly, I think that neither of them should be touching a playoff lineup. I think that what you said, Colin Miller on his left side should be tried out. I don't know why we're not doing it. Team values his shot, among other things. But it just seems less and less likely that Fleury's even an option for them in the depth chart picture.
Okay, nice. That's a good pick. Who was your other trending up?
Oh, that I want to say?
Yeah.
Jared Anderson Dolan. I want to give a shout out to him.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So even before this year, was a fan of Anderson Dolan. When I covered the AHL a little bit, like I knew him from the Ontario Reign. Loved the guy's game. Training camp this year was awesome before he broke his foot. It was really unfortunate. Goes down the Moose, plays really well, comes up against Vegas, has 6 hits. Okay, 6 in I think like 7 minutes or something crazy. Like he barely played. And then against Utah, I will say there were so many times where along the wall he made really smart plays. Like whether it was he had a puck in transition, he stopped up, made a really smart cycle down low. I really like what he does out there. He doesn't have the chaotic, like, dog on a bone or dog when you get home from work that's going everywhere like Brian Tanev. But Jaddy ain't bad. Jad ain't bad. That's my new slogan.
Jad ain't bad.
Two-year deal for that guy. Like, I'll put it this way. If there was an injury up front, I'd put him in the lineup over David Gustafsson.
Wow. That is wild. I disagree. I think David Gustafsson, for what he brings down the middle, is much more effective. Center. Okay, fine. So on the wing, I think they're the same.
Sorry, I should have clarified.
Sure.
Barron's the 4C in my opinion. Who would you have as a winger on the Chaos line? Kupari, Gustafsson, or Jad ain't bad?
I'd go Gus. I would.
I think go Jad.
Okay. I mean, I will say 6 hits in like, what was it? Like 8 minutes of. Yeah, that's crazy. And I said on Winnipeg Sports Talk that day with Hustler, like it's not his NHL debut, Jared Anderson Dolan, but he'll have that energy. Yeah, I know, but like he'll have that energy because he hasn't played all season long, right? Like it's not Parker Ford coming in and playing his first ever NHL game, but Anderson Dolan is going to like run through a wall tonight because he hasn't played in the NHL this season. He's getting the chance on the road in Vegas. Like he came out and just hit everything in sight. So that was fun. I don't know. That's definitely a bigger discussion and one that doesn't matter as much because I don't think Anderson Dolan will be in this lineup. I think it'll be end up being Gustafsson, but hey, playoff lineups
in another world, let's just say you're probably right. In another world, though, if he hadn't gotten hurt, I could have seen him making it hard on them to send him down or whatever it is. I don't know. I mean, there is still the fact that he has a 2-way contract and other things, but also
probably. Is it crazy to say I agree with it? Yeah, I agree with this. So like it's
I'm not like doubting that like at all. I'm not here saying Jad for Prez, but like I'm just saying I like
Connor, Shifley, Jad. Top line.
Exactly.
Let's roll. Roll.
How do you like me now?
Yeah, exactly. That was trending up or trending down. Thank you everyone in chat for participating. I saw a lot of people in chat as well as Lyss. She just texted me saying Connor Hellebuyck trending down. So very negative outlook from Lyss there on trending up, trending down. She says Connor Hellebuyck, not good at hockey. So unfortunate take there from Lyss. But anyways, thank you everyone for taking part. And let's roll right into our next segment, Jacob, of One Burning Question. This is where we open up the chat room and take questions regarding the Winnipeg Jets. And like I said with trending up, trending down, while you were down there, make sure you hit the like button and drop a comment below any question that you think you want us to answer regarding the Winnipeg Jets. Jacob, my question to you, what has your experience been with Prime this year, watching the Jets on Prime?
Well, I meant like what streaming shows do I watch?
No. Yeah, what shows are you watching? Right? No, like what do you think? What are your thoughts on Prime?
The resolution is quite poor. I like it. Like,
okay.
I'm glad that Sportsnet secured the Canadian rights to the next 12 years.
Congratulations, by the way. Yeah.
I worked really hard. It was a vigorous negotiation.
Well, they saw your writing and they were like, we got to re-up. Like, this guy's.
I like Prime. I honestly though, because so they had the Leafs Jets Monday night game. There was another one I watched. One of the times it wasn't really working well for me. It's fine. Still not my go-to and favorite one. I don't know where you stand on it.
I think it's great. I mean, it has certain advantages over like a Sportsnet and like the Hockey Night in Canada thing. Like they are covering one game a week and they can spend the whole week preparing for the next game Monday night, like they can spend all week watching the Blues and the Jets so that they are truly like experts coming into that game Monday night. And I think that raises the level of it. I love the fact that they randomly just show warmups for games. Like you just turn on Prime 30 minutes before. It's not just some random show. It's the warmup of the game. Kind of gives you the feel that you're there. And I love the play-by-play commentator, John Forsland. He does the Kraken usually. And then he's doing Prime as well. I think he's awesome. So like, again, yeah, I've had issues with it, like any streaming service, but I think it's great. I'm not here to say like it's better than whatever, but it's better than Sportsnet. It's better than TSN. No, I don't think so, but I think it's great for what it is. For a standalone, like nationally broadcasted, hyped up game that it's supposed to be. I think it's great. Let's get to the chat. We asked you guys for questions. Let's see what we've got. TFC says Comrie. I think it's supposed to say Comrie. Comrie starting Monday. Yeah, I'm starting. I'm in the lineup. I just got the call, actually. Darth Skater also asking how many games for Comrie. So let's just make this an Eric Comrie discussion, Jacob. How many games down the stretch here does he get? There's one back-to-back, actually. Next weekend, the Jets play the Blackhawks Saturday, and then at home on Sunday against the Edmonton Oilers. So I think he's for sure getting one of those games.
Chicago,
and then if the Jets like secure the 1 seed, he'll play the final game of the regular season Wednesday against the Anaheim Ducks.
7 games left or 6?
There's 5 games left. St. Louis, Dallas, Chicago, Edmonton, Anaheim. I say he plays 2 of the 5. Hellebuck against St. Louis, Dallas, Edmonton.
And how many starts do I give him at the end of the year?
It's a good question. Isn't he at 19 right now? Yeah, he's at 19. I believe so. We have Google. We have the internet.
Like when it's like we ask a question and like the producers look it up. Like we need one of those.
Yeah, exactly. 19. So that would give him 21 starts on the year if he plays 2 more.
Last year, Bristol had 23. Okay. All right. Like, I guess kind of in line with what you'd think. But to answer the question, 2 out of 5, I would say. And I don't think Comrie will play Monday.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. I don't think Comrie plays Monday either. I think it's Hellebuck. Rat River Rebel asking, the Kings are second in the Pacific. If the Jets make the Western Conference Final, are the Kings the worst possible matchup for the Jets? I say no. I say it would be Vegas if they make the Western Conference Final.
I would agree. I think it's for sure Vegas.
I think they're the Kings and Vegas are like the same style of team. Vegas just does it better, and they have Jack Eichel.
Well, Vegas has more offense too,
and more offense, and like Jack Eichel's.
D.
Yeah,
and Jack Eichel. Freaking.
I will say, I think I have more confidence in Darcy Kemper than I do Aiden Hill at this current stage.
Fair.
Like I think so. Goaltending.
I do think the Jets would figure it out against LA because whether they run the trap or not so efficiently like LA does, the power play, I think, would find a way to be an asset. And I also think that Hellebuck would be excellent. So,
okay. Yeah.
I would agree. Vegas is the nightmare to me.
Okay. Yeah. I'll say that. Is it worth trying Lowry as second line center again in case we need him there in the playoffs?
I assume this question from the chat is a reference to him with Ehlers.
Yeah.
Fair to say. Yeah, absolutely. Like, try it again. And I think even if you don't, you know what you have in that. We've seen enough of it. So that's fine. But I've been a big proponent of it. I think I actually don't mind the fact that Arniel went away from it for Vegas. I actually think it was somewhat wise.
Okay.
Or I can understand it.
The coach on the top team in the NHL kind of knows what he's doing. Maybe
putting up what he's putting down. He might know what he's doing here. Jack Adams candidate, but
maybe
I know it's the right move. Matchup dependent, series dependent, in a lot of ways. Sure. But I think that Ehlers plays his best hockey with Adam Lowry, frankly.
Okay. I think we've seen enough of that line to know that it can be a wrinkle in the playoffs. Would I like to see it again? Absolutely. But I think also at the same time, we've seen enough to know that if the Jets are down 2-0 in a series, like switch it up, go to that. I think it's worked.
More micro, they're getting outshot or outplayed in a period, and you want to switch it up, run to that.
like first period against Utah. Like Utah makes the playoffs and it's like, oh my God, we gotta
There you go.
we're screwed. Yeah, no.
That's the response.
Yeah. Andrew Haleko, how close is Pionk to returning? So he hit the ice for his first practice on Saturday in Utah, skated on the fourth pairing. So, he wasn't going to be in the lineup or anything like that. That was actually Friday's practice. He skated in Utah. So I'd say pretty close. Like, I don't know if he'll play Monday. That will know. They're not practicing today. So that will know at the morning skate Monday morning. But I could see him being an option for Thursday, Jacob, against Dallas, especially since he practiced on Friday. That's like a full week or like 6 days from his first practice thing. The fact he's on the ice means he'll be back before the playoffs. I have no doubt.
Oh, I would think so too.
Yeah.
He's not in a no contact jersey, so
no, he's in a full contact and like fully practiced.
Got a couple more skates, been on the team.
Yeah,
I think he'll be back sooner than later for sure.
I don't know about Monday though.
No, I would say Thursday is what I was thinking.
Thursday? You think that'll be his first?
Yes, without knowing just the way it's treading and in the abundance of caution, I would say Thursday. But
yeah,
wouldn't surprise me if Pionk finds his way in there. But they're being careful with him.
Totally. The other notable injury, that wasn't a game time decision on Saturday is Gabe Vilardi. Macarena. Doug asked, does Vilardi play the first game of the playoffs? This is the biggest question. Like, it should be the first question to Scarter Neal in the scrum Monday morning. It's like, what is the update on
not
Gabe
Billy's
Vilardi?
status?
No, you know what? I found a new one, Jacob. I'll open up Scarter Neal's presser on Monday like this. So big game tonight, Scott. Who's your goaltender tonight? Connor? You going with Connor Hellebuyck?
Yeah.
Go with Helly?
Quickly before we get to the game, is it Connor Hellebuyck?
Is it Hellebuyck tonight? Or like Thursday against Dallas? Be like,
game one of the playoffs.
Game one of the
playoffs. Is it Hellebuyck tonight?
Is it Helly in net? Yeah. Okay.
You'll
Just confirming. You never know. Vilardi.
No clue.
No clue either. I think this is like the biggest piece of news this week, though, or coming out of Monday's morning skate is going to be the update on Vilardi. If he's still like week to week, well, that last update we got was that he's still week to week and a ways away from doing off ice work. If that's the update Monday, I say no, he doesn't play first game.
I would agree. Yeah. So you're saying, you're saying if we get to Monday's morning skate, we ask the question, and the response is
still week to week. We're 2 weeks away from the playoffs.
Yeah, no,
we're a weekend,
not playing week
6 days. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. Like, I don't know. We can't make the assumption now. Yeah, but
I actually have no opinion. If you actually ask me on or off, I have no opinion. I don't know.
He's
not skating. Like,
he's not skating. He's not doing off ice work. But stay tuned to Jacob's Twitter at JL Stoller. He'll have the update there Monday. Or I will, or any of the great other beat reporters here in Winnipeg will have the report for you Monday on what Scarter Neal says, whether there's an update or not. T. Will, have we sold the team yet? Don't think so. Who gets called up from the Moose for the playoffs this year? When the roster limit? Everyone's up.
Everyone from Brad Lambert to Danny Shilkin to Tyson MP, they're all coming up. No, I don't know. Like, they'll have like how I assume the question is, so they had the Black Aces in the playoffs, and what they do is they skate. Mike Keane will run them through a skate with the ice pucks every day, so they're fresh. And they're just kind of staying around. I would say they'll add maybe 1 or 2 bodies to the like regular skate to be around the team.
Sure. Maybe
not even though, because like you don't want to clog up your ice during the playoffs, like with extra players too much. They already have a couple extras. So Dylan Coughlin maybe will come up and join the team there as an extra right shot. Then again, we still have Colin Miller. I don't know. Let's say 2 or 3 guys. But yeah, 2 or 3 guys to join like the main team, like being around them. But there'll still be about 10 Black Aces at the ice blocks
that are just skating, just doing cardio.
Like if you're, continue. That was a crappy point. Go.
That was a good point. No,
you didn't even hear it.
Well, okay, no, your point before.
Thanks, man. Respect.
Anyways, yeah, got you. Should Arneal separate Scheifele and Connor in a trial run before the playoffs?
Yes.
Whether or not. Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, this is what I was gonna say. Whether or not we think it should happen, it won't.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Question is should.
Should it? Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, let's exercise quickly here. Name,
Yeah.
when it comes to mind quickly, the top 2 or 3 duos that come to your head in the NHL, dynamic duos,
Oh,
like in the league.
McDavid, Draisaitl,
Okay.
McKinnon, McCarr.
Yep.
Does that
No,
count?
no, no. Forwards.
Forwards. Matthews, Marner.
Yeah. So let's go off those two.
Eichel, Stone.
Okay,
Maybe.
so
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I don't know.
Draisaitl, McDavid, Matthews, Marner, Eichel, Stone.
Yeah.
All 3 of those duos have spent time apart from one another.
Yeah.
Okay. You do that when the situation calls for it. The Jets, as we know, have not. I believe they need to. We talked about the lack of adjustments that happened in Colorado. What if that top line sucks in the playoffs? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a world where they just don't perform well. The best defensive team in the NHL, the best goalie last year, sucked in the playoffs, right?
Yep.
It could happen. So what's your first move when that's happening? You just keep going with it? Where are the other options here? That's where my viewpoint is. You need to know what you have.
Yeah. I think it's too late for that, though. It's too late. Like, we're 5 games left, and one of them is like the most important game.
That's fine. I'm just saying, like, you know what? Maybe we are too late for it, but
it's too late.
Okay,
if you
they
want
lock up first place, well, better yet, like, it is too late, sure, but like Velarde's out, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily too late. I think they're still trying to figure. I think this is the time to do it.
I don't know. Yeah,
maybe not. Like, I think
it's a good question. Like, it's
in this, I think in this idea too, it'd be Scheifele, Velarde, Ehlers.
Yep, the line that was dynamite last year.
And then Connor, Nemesnikov, Perfetti.
Yeah. And then the usual Lowry line. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think maybe we're too late in the game, whatever. I just think that's my opinion on it.
I think they should have done this in the middle of February when they were, like, whatever, the games.
Well, like,
I mean, I guess the points count the same.
Is another example where, like, they've played together, but I think Tavares and Marner at one point were more inseparable. And Leon and McDavid, obviously, those are 2 of the best talents in the world, and to ever amongst those to ever play the game. But they'll put them together when they need a goal, but they'll separate them usually. I don't think Connor and Scheifele individually are at that level, but I just still think the argument stands about, like, your 2 best. Like, they play great together. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes, if the situation calls for it, you may have to try something else. But other line's not running. This is what I'll say. Them 2, who I've the highest praise for, are not good on their own, like on their own accord, to have one line run their team.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
So it's the second line and third line aren't running. My point being is you need to get the blender out. Does that make sense? I don't think that's dominant enough of a first line to warrant losses to lines 2 and 3. I just don't.
Sure. I will also add, though, on the other side of that, Marat, attached from The Athletic, had a great piece this week. Must be a day that ends in Y with him. But anyways, he outlined how the top line's defensive metrics have really improved this year. He had video of it as well. The analytics support it.
Oh, absolutely.
Top line's been, like, much better this year. I think last year the Jets were tied to the line combinations that they lived and died with. Like, Rick Bowness ran his lines how he wanted it. Every analytic, or at least publicly, that we had told us that they were going to get heavily outchanced with the line combinations that they had, and that's what happened. And they had no other option. This year, at least, there's a little bit more of, like, okay, they've ran these same lines all year, but they've actually been good this year. They're outchancing their opponents and outscoring. So
I just think that there's no harm in finding out what else you have, is all I'm trying to say.
I 100% agree. If this was the middle of January, I'd say sign me up right now.
You're right.
We have 2 of the most important. I just called this the most important regular season week.
You're right.
In Jets history, Jacob. We can't can't be doing this.
You're right.
So should they have? Yes. Should they right now? I say no.
Fair.
So that's where we're at. That's gonna wrap it. That was a great question there. One burning question. Thank you everyone in chat for submitting your questions, giving us a little bit of extra content here on a Sunday morning. Heading into the most important week for the Winnipeg Jets in the regular season. in their history. Obviously, playoffs are more important than regular season hockey, but chasing down their first ever Central Division title. It's going to be a fun week here on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Tune in every single day, Monday through Friday. Huss and Remo will have you covered at 1 o'clock. From myself, Jacob, and Lyss, we'll be back next Sunday, 9 a.m. right here on WST Sunday Live. We'll be breaking down the Chicago game and previewing the Edmonton game that day, Jacob. We've got a double header show. And then our next show after that is probably going to be a reaction. No, actually, it's not going to be a reaction from game one. It's going to be a preview of game one. The Jets won't be starting on the Saturday because there's a concert at Canada Life Center that night. So I believe they're going to start on the Sunday, maybe the Monday, but it definitely won't be the Saturday. We'll be previewing it all. That's 2 weeks from now. But Jacob, anything else you want to say on the way out here? Big week ahead. And maybe plug some work. I know you had an article from last night's game, and you'll have a lot coming up here at sportsnet.ca.
Yeah, stay tuned for a feature on a notable Jets prospect with the Moose. That's all I will say.
Nice.
Great comment by Stoop123. I think I butchered the name, but Murat always has great pieces, so check out his work as well. I love Murat's work. We all do. But yeah, my work is at sportsnet.ca. Got a feature coming out this week along with coverage from whatever reactions or feelings we have after these important games and heading into the stretch run. So always can find me there.
And I said it on Winnipeg Sports Talk on Friday. This is the best time of the year. Every game matters for the Winnipeg Jets. And you look around the league and there are just games that matter across the league. Like Montreal was playing Philly last night and it was a playoff atmosphere at the Bell Center because it's literally a playoff game for Montreal. Like they are playing for their playoff lives. And right here in Winnipeg, we've got 2 amazing games this week. St. Louis, 12 straight wins coming in Monday night on Prime. Get down to the building if you can. And then Thursday against Dallas, which may as well be for the Central Division title. We'll see where the teams sit in the standings going into that game, of course. But thank you, everyone, for joining us here on a Sunday morning. That's going to do it for us. For myself, Jacob, and Lyss, thank you for tuning in to WST Sunday Live. We will see you next Sunday. Have a great week and enjoy the games this week, everyone. It's going to be a fun one, and we will see you next Sunday. Peace.